Thank you for joining me as we talk about the inversely connected relationship that exercise and obesity play in the defense against COVID-19. Briefly, let's discuss adipose tissue and how that affects obese individuals. Evolutionarily speaking, we needed white fat to store energy in the event of lack of food, starvation, and cold winter months. However, in modern times, sedentary lifestyles, inactivity, and high cortisol levels cause the accumulation, excess storage, and overabundance of fat. White fat converts excess glucose into stored energy. It is also important in the regulation of appetite and energy balance. The white adipose tissue signals leptin to inhibit hunger. In healthy, non-obese individuals, white fat is an essential part to maintaining homeostasis. Brown fat, also called brown adipose tissue, is a type of fat that, when activated, produces heat to help maintain your body temperature and metabolism. It is activated from white fat in cold temperatures most of the time. Brown fat contains much more mitochondria than white fat, giving it the ability to break down glucose and triglycerides, which generates heat and maintains body temperature. When it's cold outside and your body needs to maintain regulated temperature, a special protein is produced by the brown fat, stimulating for branched-chain amino acids to be brought into the mitochondria. Obese individuals must undergo drastic life changes for their brown fat recruitment to be effective. White fat stores energy in big oil droplets in the body. Because it stores more energy than brown fat and does not have the same metabolic features as brown fat, it can lead to obesity. Of course, we need some white fat to protect our organs and store energy. However, too much white fat, especially sitting in our midsection, creates a risk factor for heart disease, diabetes, and other diseases. But our bodies are very smart. They have negative feedback systems in place to maintain homeostasis, a stable internal environment. When the body regulates glucose levels, it functions as a negative feedback system. When there is a rise in blood glucose, the beta cells from the pancreas detect it and stimulate the release of insulin. Insulin binds to the glucose molecules and brings it to tissues to be used as energy. This allows for a drop in blood glucose levels and the body is restored to homeostasis. If there is too much glucose, the body can store it as extra glycogen for later use or can store it as fat if necessary. However, when talking about obesity, there is already too much adipose tissue and too much glucose stored in the body. With obesity, regulating these levels becomes almost impossible. With continuous overconsumption of glucose means the body loses its sensitivity to the increase in glucose and insulin cannot respond accordingly. Because the body cannot regulate itself and maintain homeostasis, this creates an immunocompromised environment favorable to host foreign pathogens, especially COVID-19. The result is inflammation and wasted energy expenditure. Obese individuals have high levels of leptin due to the excessive fat. This causes endothelial dysfunction, blood clots more frequently, fat infiltrates organs where immune cells are produced, which causes a slew of chain reactions like impaired inflammatory response to infections, causing tissue damage and impaired ability for cytokines to be effective. Obese individuals still undergo immune responses to infections and viruses. However, their systems are compromised, so the effectiveness of the immune responses are also compromised. There are a few reasons why diabetes and obesity are risk factors for COVID-19. Cytokine release in T cells are altered. The immune responses in patients with diabetes is less effective, as insulin deficiency and hyperglycemia cause the suppression of cytokine production, defects in phagocytosis, dysfunction of immune cells, and failure to kill certain microbial cells. In obese individuals, it is seen that they have high levels of alpha-TNF, MCP1, and IL-6, which are mainly produced by adipose tissue and cause innate immunity dysfunction. In diabetes, the cellular immune response is disrupted, also affecting cellular immunity. Shortly, we will discuss how exercise has the opposite effect on inflammation and immune responses. Because obese individuals have higher levels of adipose tissue, it creates a favorable environment for the coronavirus. This gives the virus an advantage to finding stronger, replicating, and thriving throughout the body. Obese individuals not only contain a favorable environment for the coronavirus, but they also lack the proper immune response to try and fight it off. This coupled reaction allows for the coronavirus to continue to grow and take over the body. Obese individuals with type 2 diabetes were shown to be a risk factor for the coronavirus. As we discussed previously, the immunocompromised environment and favorable environment to the coronavirus in obese patients was shown to cause a greater risk of infection. From this, we know that BMI and type 2 diabetes are important risk factors for individuals defending themselves against the coronavirus. Individuals that died from the virus had higher levels of fasting glucose, IL-6, IL-8, and CRP, which are pro-inflammatory responses. So, you're probably thinking, well, then what can we do about it? Just let the virus take over their bodies? Good news, there is a solution. The magic pill very few are willing to take. Along with balanced nutrition and adequate sleep, the most beneficial thing you can do for your body is exercise. Physical activity has been proven to be the best preventative measure so far in its ability to help the individual fight the disease and slow the progression of worsening symptoms. Physical activity plays a critical role in managing blood glucose levels, inflammation, adipose tissue, and other metabolic processes. Obese individuals and individuals with diabetes have compromised endothelial function and higher levels of adipose tissue. This compromised environment becomes a favorable environment to host the SARS-CoV-2 virus and compromises the individual's ability to fight off the infection. Exercise plays a primal role in limiting the favorable environment of the SARS-CoV-2 virus and giving the body the ability to combat the virus with faster and more effective immune responses. Physical activity and exercise help regulate metabolism. As your muscles work and need energy to do so, glucose is stimulated to be uptaken by the cells. This lowers blood glucose levels and promotes functioning of epithelial cells, epithelial tissues, and regulated adipose tissues. Along with regulated blood glucose levels, blood pressure is regulated. As the heart grows strong, it can beat with less force and pump more blood to the body. As you continue to exercise, glucose is continuously being used by your cells. Cholesterol is being used by your cells. Your cells are healthier, stimulating antioxidant effects against harmful pathogens and protecting you from viruses, especially COVID-19. Exercise and physical activity have the opposite effect on the immune system and reaction to the SARS-CoV-2 virus compared to obese, inactive individuals. Physical activity helps the effectiveness of inflammatory responses and helps with the reduction of adipose tissue, which is a huge component of the virus's ability to survive and thrive in the body. Physical activity keeps the body's metabolic processes working efficiently, promoting healthy endothelial function, lung function, and immune responses to be efficient and effective. Although the COVID-19 virus is still being studied and there are still analyses based on its progression in obese individuals and the effects that exercise has on combating the virus, lessening the symptoms, and helping overall immune function, there is sufficient evidence that suggests the negative implications that being obese has on the virus's progression and how exercise has been seen to show the opposite effects. Additionally, as there is no vaccine and no known pharmaceutical for this virus, exercise and physical activity are the closest drugs that can help combat the virus. It is recommended that individuals continue to and begin exercising, as it is effective in slowing and stopping the progression of COVID-19. Likewise, it is suggested that individuals above the BMI of 30 slowly restrict calories, eat a balanced diet, eat whole grains, vegetables, and fruits, as this will improve their overall metabolic functions, immunity, and therefore ability to stop or slow the progression of COVID-19.